Hey guys, welcome back to Fixing It, and today we're going to change the rear brakes on my 2010 Honda Pilot. Alright guys, first thing you got to do is take off the caliper, and there's two 12mm bolts here, one here and one down here. Okay, so take those off. Now you can take the caliper off. Just put a screwdriver like this and just pry it off. And when you take this off, don't let it hang. Just put it up here, tie it up, do whatever. That's fine the way it is. Now take off the pads. Look, there's not much pad left. They're pretty worn. Okay. Alright guys, next step is taking off this bracket for the rotor. And you got to take off this bolt and this bolt behind here. That's a 17mm. Let's get those off. Alright guys, next step is taking off the rotor, and you have to get off these screws that retain the rotor in place. I think last time I put it in, I put some anti-seize. Yep, I did. You can see the anti-seize on it. Where is it? And that made it easier. So throw some anti-seize on it, because otherwise sometimes these things, they don't come out, and then you have to drill them out. So alright guys, these are your emergency brake or parking brakes. I'm going to spray them just to clean them up a little bit. Make sure you put a pan to catch all this stuff. Alright, we'll go with the dirt that came out of there. Alright guys, you got your new rotors. What they look like. And these things, you want to clean them off a little bit because they got some oil from the factory. So take some of the brake cleaner and just wipe them off. These are the back brakes of the emergency brake part too. Alright, it's good to go. Alright guys, before you put the rotor back on, clean this a little bit. Clean the hub. This one was pretty clean already. Okay. And then apply some grease onto the hub so the rotor doesn't seize in there. Next time you have to do this job, it'd be a lot easier to take off. You don't have to go crazy with this, just some little bit. Alright guys, we're ready to put this back on. Make sure I forgot to tell you this, make sure that parking brake is disengaged, otherwise it's going to push out and you won't be able to get the rotor out. Also, if the rotor is stuck in there, they got these holes right here with threads. You just put a bolt in there and you go in and push the rotor out. Alright, so make sure these holes lined up with the holes for the screws, okay? Okay. So now you got to put the screws in there. I'm going to throw a little anti-seize on these before I put them in. That way they don't get seized in there. Alright guys, next step is taking off these clips. Just kind of pry them off with a flathead. Okay. What I do is I usually just clean this off real quick. Just to get some of the rust off. Okay. Just spray them real quick. Alright guys, just apply a little grease with these brackets are gonna go, just so there's no noise. Alright. And then you're gonna just pop these back in there. Just like that. Now, these come out. These are the slide bolts. Okay, so you want to clean these off and reapply some grease. All right, and then you're just gonna slide them back in there. Make sure the boot goes right over that, like that. Put the other one. All right, guys. One more thing. If you can't get the rotor off, you might have to adjust these parking brakes to go down. So this is how you do it. There's a little wheel in here. See this? See this wheel in there? So what you do is just take a screwdriver and just adjust it either up or down to make these go either out or in. Okay, next step is putting the bracket back in place with the two 17mm bolts. Before slapping on the pads, just put a little grease on here because the pads are going to slide in and out like that. So all right, throw the pad on. The pads just slide right on like that. Do the same in the other side. Okay guys, next step is compressing this piston so it fits over the new pads. In order to do that, you need like a C-clamp, or they have the tool that just compresses it in. But if you have a C-clamp, it's good enough. Just put a pad, like an old pad, over this and just compress it in. Okay, just slide this right over the new pads. I'm gonna have to compress this a little bit just to fit it over. Like that. I just put your 14mm bolts. Alright, that's how you do the rear brakes on a Honda Pilot. I hope this video helped you out. Like and subscribe. Talk to you guys later. Take care.